Welcome to Toffee TV, joined by Andy.
Hi.
Because it's the international break, there's no Premier League show, obviously, and basically we've swerved the footy show this week as well because it's international jarg. But obviously there's a Talking Everton business with John Blaine that's up as a video, and we're doing this one. Matthew Barry sent in a video the other day for the Tuesday topic, but we'd already received one. So, as always, and as promised, we continue to use the video. So what we've done is, this is a good video for Matthew, and me and Andy are going to have a chat about it. But here's Matthew.
Hi lads, Matthew from Cardiff. Tuesday topic, I just wanted to talk about the poor punditry on TV at the moment, and the attitudes, the misinformation, and just the all-round awful quality of people who we're forced to listen to. It's no wonder why people are turning more and more towards fan television and taking the opinions of people from the non-footballing community far more serious than the actual paid professionals. Massive issues this week with the likes of Jason Cundy, Charlie Nicholas, and certainly Graham Souness after what he said about Moise Keane. These are people who played 25, 30 years ago and are just so out of touch with the modern game. It's just absolutely awful. It just shows the disparity of what they're actually saying to what reality is, and for expert opinion, they're just far from that. So just wanted to know what your thoughts were. Cheers, bye-bye.
Thanks, Matthew. So, I mean, this is talking about punditry there, this is a subject that caught fire while I was away. Seen a lot of stuff on social media about it, seen obviously the comments about this fella here, Graham Souness, about Moise Keane, but it wasn't just Graham Souness, he's one of many. There was Jason Cundy talking, I seen him having a go at Marco Silva after we won at Lincoln, saying he knows his job's on the line.
And we struggled to beat a team.
I mean, this is Jason Cundy, who was
an average
shit.
At best. Yeah,
he was
exactly.
shite, let's be honest. He scored a goal for Tottenham at Portman Road that he didn't mean, cleared the ball and the wind took it. He was absolutely crap, and as a pundit he's even worse. He hasn't got a Scooby, he really hasn't. And then yet the list is endless.
Stephen Warnock using Wikipedia as a source, saying that Red Star have got their own plumbing company, former European champions in '91.
Part-timers, they have to train and do the milk round and then try to get to train for 10 minutes.
It's ignorance.
Just nonsense, and it goes on, the list goes on. You've got Dean Saunders, well, you had Dean Saunders, Chatting Wham, you've got Danny Murphy, who doesn't know his arse from his elbow,
Garth Crooks, who don't watch games. It's just endless, isn't it?
Share, there's loads, they're all crap. Michael Owen, you've got Shearer and Owen having a spat now over,
exactly.
Michael Owen,
Michael
Owen and Lawrenson, I'm going to put him in the same bracket, are two of the worst I've ever heard. Michael Owen hasn't got a clue.
And Mark Lawrenson doesn't enjoy football.
Mark Lawrenson
doesn't even like football.
I don't know what he does. He's just got Liverpool to win every week. Other than that, he hasn't got a clue. And obviously was saved by, well, marginally, just about saved by people like Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher, and who actually are decent. But obviously, as Matthew was saying there, well, let's start with this. Let's start with the Moise Keane comments by Graham Souness, which obviously has upset a lot of Evertonians, and rightly so as well. I know Souness is Mancini's mate, and Mancini obviously is part of the Italian setup, and so therefore he probably knows a little bit about Moise Keane. But I just found his comments just so uneducated, unnecessary as well, uneducated, and basically just having a dig at Everton.
He came across very poorly, didn't he? It's like now Sky have got researchers, and I'm sure the researchers in most cases quite good. They probably provide these with all sorts of information. Do they spend time looking at it?
No.
Probably not. They just make up their own opinions. And in the Souness case, I don't think he was particularly being racist. I don't think he was being.
A lot of people have said it was racist. I think he was being.
I think he was very ignorant.
Just lazy.
He's very ignorant in what he said, and I think. To then an hour later say, the problem became when he said an hour later that Eriksen didn't have a problem, he was a nice guy. I think that's when people, and obviously his issues with Paul Pogba, but I think I think the issue with Pogba is more that Pogba doesn't play like he did, which is 100% intensity all of the time. But even so, I just think it was poor. I think Moise Kean, you basically just put, he's a 19-year-old lad coming to a new country, and basically you're making out he's got an attitude problem, which realistically is not true. Now, okay, Mancini said that him and Zaniolo were left out of the full squad because they were late. I think it's a bit harsh.
They were 5 minutes late.
I think Mancini's been a bit over the top by leaving people out of the squad. Imagine they got beat. Now, if that was his best players, if that was Totti 10 years ago, Totti's never got left out of the side. It's because the young lads, and they're trying to set an example. So I do not think that he's got an attitude problem. I think overall, like, Souness is a decent pundit, I'd say. I think he's obviously a former, he's a winner. He knows football. He lacks content as well. Like things like tactics don't matter, and don't be wrong, tactics do matter, and they don't matter in certain cases. But I don't know. I think in this.
Why do you think he's? Let me take you to task then. Why do you think he's a decent pundit? In what way? I
don't know. I think sometimes the way he analyses, I'm not saying he's good or he's particularly bad. I think he's somewhere in the middle. I think he's okay. I think the way he looks at games, the experience he can bring to. I think that's fine. But that is stuff he had whether he be a pundit or not because he's played. And part of the real issue is they're just all ex-football players.
Yeah.
Howard Cosell, the famous American commentator who commentates on Muhammad Ali's matches, once said the issue with punditry or commentators now is jockocracy. It's been taken over by people who used to play the game and they think they know it better than other people, and they do. And if you look at other countries around the world, they don't just have ex-players or they have journalists, ex-traders, ex-coaches. They have also a breadth of people on. And the problem with our country is we only have ex-footballers on, and most of them are only ex-footballers at one club, let's be honest. And that's part of the issue. There's not, you've got Graham, you have Jason McAteer on certain games, these people, really shouldn't be on games. And the fact that there's so many, this is why I listen to podcasts more than listen to what Sky have to say. Like, I know people watch the debate programme. I would never watch the debate programme. There's not really anything I can learn from it. Would rather listen to like podcasts like the Totally Football Show, with like people like Gabriel Marcotti, like Rafa Honigstein, even Guillaume Balaguer, people I'm a big fan of him, but just people who've got different perspectives. I think it's all the same perspective from this. Carragher and Neville generally try and teach. They use they've got the big up the board. They use tactics. They talk about their experiences. They try and learn things. But even then, guy like Neville didn't even know about Moise Kean Moise Kean.
Yeah, they didn't realise Moise Kean at the time for Everton.
Now I'm not expecting everyone to know every single player.
It's quite a high profile sign.
Yeah, it is, and I don't know every single player despite like the fact that I watch players all the time. But still, you've got Paul Merson and Charlie Nicholas on Soccer Saturday going. They haven't got a clue who these players are, and they're making these predictions, and the teams are going to go down. These players are bad signings because these bad managers are bad because they're not coming from England. It's really bad. And it affects people's enjoyment watching football.
You've got to level that at the companies employing them. So you've got to level that at Sky. You've got to level it at the BBC, haven't you? BT. There's. I'm with you. I watched. Or don't watch Match of the Day anymore. I quite like Lineker. I think Lineker's a decent presenter. I think he's smooth and he's played the game. He's got, and I like listening when he actually gets involved in the punditry side. I actually like him because Lineker, you can tell, does his research. Yeah. I think he's a great interviewer. Really, that sport level. I think he's really good. The problem with Match of the Day is he doesn't really give his input. He's just asking.
He's setting he's teeing them up.
He's teeing them up. Whereas I think it'd get more value if he actually played his part in the discussion.
He's discussing matches with managers, as you say, like we interview. He does give us, he asks intelligent questions, and maybe he'd have some, intelligent views to give. But then you've got Danny Murphy.
You've got Murphy. You've got Shearer.
Janus is all right, but when it comes to Tottenham, he can't see past his own nose.
He's another one, I think. I just don't think they're very good, and I think the problem that they fall into is. You're right, they just have ex-footballers, and I've always said it. I mean, one of the best shows that was on telly in recent years was BT's European Football show. James Richardson, who's fantastic anyway, but it was journalists and that, it wasn't footballers, and so therefore you actually had some intelligent conversation. You didn't have, do this and he does that, and it was people who were watching a lot of football giving their opinion and teeing things up. Sometimes footballers, it's good to have, it's good, but what I'd be trying to do is have current footballers. I know it's difficult sometimes because they're not gonna say bad things about the opposition, but they don't have to. You can sit there as a current footballer and analyse a game of football without having to go, well, he's crap or he's knowing that you're playing against him, but you can just talk about situations and say he could have done better in that situation or what we do or whatever. Because I always liked when match of the day done it a few times, they'd have a manager on, a current manager on, and it was really good, but then it stopped. And now I don't know whether, obviously, manager commitments and stuff like that, but
you see when Mourinho was on Sky, though, the level he brings to, because he's still obviously, although he's obviously one of the greatest coaches of all time, he's still trying to learn things because he understands where he's been wrong in his last couple of jobs. I think he's trying to learn. That's why he is going around watching games. But the way he can analyse stuff and tactically, it's a level above. And I know Neville and Carragher do it as well. And Andy Gray certainly did it back in the day. I think he was spoiled by that. In fact, I think Andy Gray was so good.
Still now is brilliant. I see that. I try to get the being sports stuff after they've done the game. He's still miles.
That's what I mean. So that I was spoiled because that was the long time the standard, and then. Now it's not really. We've sort of fell off, and we've got people making outlandish statements and a lot of biasness. Like, but they can't really say anything nice about Everton or anything. The signings, can they?
You know what?
It's not even just Everton.
It's not even Everton. There's just a. I understand I understand the model, and especially being in this environment. You always look at numbers and go, so I understand why they pander to Liverpool and they pander to United. Because they're the views, they're the views. But that shouldn't stop you producing the very best content you can produce, even if it is Everton against West Ham, and you should have an ex-Everton player and an ex-West Ham player on, or someone like Tony Cottee who's played for both, and he's your only one. I don't want to listen to Graham Souness, Jamie Carragher, Jamie Redknapp. Any of those, I want to listen to a Liverpool, ex-Liverpool player talking about Everton, because none of them, as far as I'm concerned, are professional enough to be able to be impartial and actually judge what they see. There's always digs, and this isn't just Everton. They'll do it when United are playing, or they'll do it with City. We had the famous thing last season when City beat United and Carragher and Tyler sat there silent for 10 minutes because City had won the game. I mean, that is just disgusting. Because what about all the City fans who were watching it and looking for analysis? There was nothing, because the bitterness was real, and you can't have that. If you've got nothing, if you can't produce good analysis, get rid of everybody. I honestly believe Match of the Day should go back to just being Gary Lineker and going
like
Everton met Bournemouth today and then show the game and then have a little bit more from the manager of both teams and a player each, and that's it. Good result for Everton down there at Bournemouth. Next, Liverpool played and then on to that one.
Everything's the same now, isn't it? So BT had the chat, and they did do with the European football show, but they haven't otherwise. When a new channel comes up, they have an opportunity to be different, but they always do the same thing. They all follow the same thing, and I think, if we had like, Klopp's new German manager, we have Rafa Honigstein on, who could tell you more about Klopp's career, what German coaches do, and people like that. It added different elements, especially when there's new signings on transfer deadline day. I don't want to see Paul Merson or Charlie Nicholas talk about transfers. They know nothing about players from other countries. They barely watch the Champions League in most cases.
But you've also got them 5 fellas sat around with laptops all through the summer on that transfer thing.
Yeah, but they don't even know players.
That was nonsense.
It
was awful. And Sky are paying them to sit there and go, and they didn't have a clue either, and you're just like, what? Why is nobody doing the research? Why Sky pay these fellas
400 grand, some of them
big money, and they can't even be asked to do the research.
But you'd think, if you mind Gary Neville, big sign like Moise Keane, you'd expect them to know players play for Juventus, and you know what I mean. It's simple.
I think he knew him. He just
didn't like Gary Neville, and even he said that he doesn't think he can stay in punditry much longer. Because it's changing his tactical knowledge of what was in when he was a player is now ebbing away, and then he can't be as effective. That's smart, but I don't think anyone else thinks like that. I think they'd stay on to the last pay packet, wouldn't he? Until they shuffled out.
Well, let's see if he does move.
Yeah, of course.
Because I think he's probably got his. Well, he's saying that because he's looking at.
Well, maybe he wants to do it.
Well, he's looking at the likes of Salford City, who continue to climb the league, and thinking that actually might be the manager.
He said he never wants to go back on the job ever. I don't know, but
he say a lot of things, or he might see something else that he wants to do, which is fair enough. Because surely all he would do is learn with the game.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what you'd do if you were smart for Neville, you'd take the summer and go and do coaching with Klopp and go to United and go to Everton and and then you take that back into the punditry.
Do you know what they do on? Actually, I just thought in the chat for the Football League games, Sky, they've got the two lads on from, I can't remember the names. Sorry to them, from the Not Top 20 podcast, and they provide something different. They used to have Liam Rosini on, who used to be a player. He was really good. The actually EFL coverage is much better than the Premier League coverage, but the Premier League coverage is the standard bearer, and I think it's great switching on. You can see the old faces or whatever that you regularly see them, but you want a bit of analysis. You want, and I'm not saying I want a full tactical breakdown, because not everyone's interested in that, but you want to know where the game was won and where it was not. I didn't win the second ball. That's the only analysis you give. You want something tangible. You want to be interested. That's why Monday Night Football's been more interesting since Carragher and Neville came onto it, because they got back to that Andy Gray level of analysis where you'd get the board out and he'd say this is where the issues are, and you'd look at a certain player, the movements. They started doing that again, but I think the other pundits aren't capable of doing that, but they're just talking heads, really, trying to cause controversy, and especially in TalkSport. Jesus.
Well, on to TalkSport, I mean, their whole existence is
controversy,
to get people to phone in. I mean, they're very good at what they do.
Oh, Agent Durham just baits people, doesn't he? One week Arsenal are the best team in Europe, the next season they're the losers.
Well, that was really at Arsenal Daily, didn't he? And
Daily Arsenal,
show people at phoning. He'd done it with Liverpool until Carragher threatened them, and then all of a sudden Liverpool were the greatest thing ever. Because his arse had gone. He had a go. Remember him having a go at Moyes with remember when the Anichebe thing, Moyes had pulled him. He had a problem with an issue with Victor Anichebe, and he come out and he said something about Anichebe, and he went, "It's been dealt with. Any more questions?" And it's amending the press conference. Next question, someone asked him about Victor, and he got up and walked out. That's right, And that day, Durham ripped him, said, "What's he like? He's got no..." Well, Moyes phoned up, and Durham's arse was like that when Moyes phoned up. When it finished, friend of the show, David Moyes, and he was all up his arse for a little bit. So that's what they're like. TalkSport just want you to phone in, and they know now that we bite. As Evertonians.
Yeah, we do, they do.
We bite because we're fiercely proud. Yeah. Fucking right we are.
We should be.
So what they will do is they'll look and go, and don't forget, we're just dismissed by them, because the big six in their eyes is the be all and end all.
But it used to be the top four, and then Man City and Tottenham came along.
Because City and Tottenham forced Liverpool essentially out of it, exactly. And Arsenal, so it had to stretch to a big six. If Liverpool and Arsenal would have stayed in the top four, City would never have got a look in, neither would Spurs.
It'll be a top five, it'll be sixth.
Well, if Everton get in, it'll be, if Everton replaced United in the top six, it'd be a top seven.
Yeah, it would be.
Wouldn't it? It wouldn't be,
or top five even.
Or whatever.
Bad season by United there, you can imagine.
So that's what had happened, but, so they know that we bite the same as Arsenal, and that's why they will constantly bait, and they just look for cheap digs, but it's the uneducated. I don't mind someone knowing a bit about Everton and giving an opinion. Like Jamie Carragher knows about Everton.
You can tell he does, he talks to people all the time,
He's a fucking Evertonian, that's why, let's have it right. He's still got a big affection for Everton, even though he's a red. So he knows, he's got his mates, all his best mates are Blues and all that, so he knows what's going on at the club, right? Do I like everything he says about Everton? No, of course, because you want to hear people talking nicely about your football club. Too. But I will listen to what Carragher says about us, and I'll go, yeah, I get what he means, because he knows, he's got a knowledge. Saying that, bloody, it's when they have digs at the club. Now we'll have a dig, Jamie. We'll have a dig.
Tongue in cheek,
but it's a laugh, and he knows he'll get it back and all that. But it's when other people who aren't as educated about the football club make outlandish statements, or make these
Cundy, for example,
Cundy, Mason, people like that, and I just think it's how are you getting away with it? But look at Mason speaking about Watford, and he talked about the player who was on loan.
Oh, Amrabat, yeah.
Amrabat, he was one of their best players for them last season. He played 2 games and was on loan somewhere else. And you're like, you're getting paid a big wad of money, and you don't know what you're saying.
The issue is as well, they're all mates with Sam Allardyce. So Marco Silva's got nothing with no. Unless he goes into the studio and does the hugs and the handshakes, he's never going to get any credit off these people, because they all want Sam Allardyce to be. And that's every time a foreign manager's employed. He's a foreign manager. He doesn't know he doesn't know the league. Blah, blah, blah. Let's dispel the myth. If you're a good manager and you come in with a decent team, you're going to be all right in the league. Let's be honest. More English managers have relegated clubs than foreign managers. If you look at over the course of the Premier League, still let's put the brakes there. But Yeah, I think that's the problem with Everton. They're not seen as someone they're seen as someone they can prod, I should say. They're seen as someone they don't have to show much respect to because they don't basically run the league in the case of the top six.
And they're not going to get bollocked off it. And
No,
they're not
exactly.
going to get
you're not going to get
their access restricted and all of that. So,
and the papers. Yeah, the papers are alright. I guess I don't read any papers.
I don't either, so.
Yeah, but I think this is why fan media, I think, is quite a good thing, whether it's Toffee TV or other Everton things. It's people giving their opinions. Probably not.
What he's on about.
Yeah, but even so, there's I like podcasts as well. Like, there's loads of good different podcasts that give you different views. And I think it's because they're speaking to journalists who watch a lot of games. They don't just watch the games they're paid to. There's people who are lifelong football fans who watch all types of football. They like to comment on things, and I think that makes it better.
That's why I love having people in here. And again, I'll extend the invitation once again. If you want to come in here, get in. I love talking to people about different subjects and different people, different opinions. Me and you won't agree on things.
No, we don't.
We have different views on me and Ped, you and Ped. It goes around. It's good. There's lots of different facets and lots of different things that I might like that you go, I can understand why you like that, but I like that. And that's how football is.
It is, yeah.
That's how it should be. And that's why, I suppose, the rise of fan media, but that's what it is, say. The rise of this...
Independent
media, well, that's what we are, Everton independent media. The rise of this kind of media is the fact that people who are watching know that we're football fans of our club, so we've got the club's best interest at heart, the best interest of the club at our heart. We want the club to do the best it can do for everyone. We want it to be successful. We're not having if we're having digs at the club, it's because
you want them to do better.
We want them to do better. It's not doing what we want it to.
Exactly.
For everybody, but we're all hurting together, or we're laughing together, we're excited together, or we're worried together. We're not someone sat here with no knowledge of Everton just going, and Everton's best player is Morgan Schneiderlin because he's played for United. He's by far the best player they've got. And you're like, well, he's not. Because, and things like that. So I think that's why more and more people like it. Joe was saying before off camera, sometimes when he watches the match reactions, if we're fuming because Everton have lost, he finds like a unity with that, because that's how he's feeling. Or if we've won, he'll watch it and he's excited, and you can see we're excited, and you get that connection. And I think that's what happens, whether it be Redmen, whether it be United Stand, whether it be Arsenal Fan TV, whatever. Their supporters will watch that to have that connection with it, which you haven't got with sanitised football on the telly.
No, they all sit there in the same. They're all in suits.
Same nonsense.
It's just stale. It's a stale format, and I know they tried to do something slightly different with Friday Night Football, but that wasn't really that good because they picked the wrong presenters. But there's a way to be better. We're not saying get rid of all the football pundits. We're certainly saying take them to task if they're not doing the job properly. Especially if you're getting paid a lot of money like these guys are. Do your research. Especially if you're doing European games, if you don't know the team or their best players, then how can you be doing your research?
I'd get rid of them all. Start again. Yeah. If I was Sky put me in charge of it, you'd have 2 ex-players from every club would be employed.
Yeah, it's smart. Yeah, and
then every time that club,
that's your club plays, Moyes, for example,
someone like that. So when Everton played, one of them would do it. Yeah. And if they played Norwich, it'd be whoever. 2
Gary Doherty.
Jeremy Goss. People who want to do it, who are trying to get in the game, I'd employ them on a consultant basis, and you get brought in for games. And then you'd have your commentators. You get the best commentators because, let's face it, they've got the money. And you have an analyst which has got no. So
I mean, someone
who can watch both teams with no bias, and can just give their opinion, and then it goes back. And it might take a bit more planning. That's what they're there for. That's why they're getting people's money. You
can't just turn up on a Friday night and go you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I'll put Jamie Carragher and Jamie Redknapp, Graham Souness, who are playing Everton against Aston Villa. What? Exactly. Straight away as a blue you go, I'm not listening to them.
Exactly,
So it's just simple things like that. I'd have, like I've said before, journalists and things like that involved in it. Involved in the analysis. Like you said, coaches get.
Right. I'm not saying Mikel Arteta would do it, but imagine you could get Mikel Arteta on Man City when playing until a Monday night on a Friday night game. Everton are playing. I'm sure Michael could provide some of these insights.
Yeah, but even on like a match of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Just to sit there for an hour while he'd go through the games and then listen to what his tactical
so
analysis.
In Manchester, I'm sure, Marco's, could get down there from Everton, forever.
Klopp, I'd like, you know what? If Liverpool weren't playing, I'd like to listen to Jurgen Klopp analysing the 7 games on match of the day.
One of the most interesting,
Jurgen, what about this? Yeah.
Remember last season when Bielsa did his PowerPoint? That was one of the most interesting things that happened in a while, because he was teaching people about how to beat, obviously not nice for Frank Lampard, but at the end of the day, that was like a window into like exactly what a manager does, and thinking you want that level. Like, you don't want people who have been retired for 15 years and were really average managers, and Thingy's case there.
But like you said before with Souness, I'll be honest, a lot of times I've seen Souness, I've thought he's alright.
It's just alright, yeah.
He's just alright. He seems like a grumpy old man. He's a bit like Roy Keane in 15 years.
Same thing, yeah.
He's got that niggle. He's a hell of a footballer.
Great footballer, yeah.
I haven't really got that much issue with him, but it's just lately the bitterness is coming through, and he just seems angry with everybody again. And it's like, don't make stupid comment. Don't make assumptions on people's careers. You don't need. When he was talking about Moise Keane, he really needs to say.
I don't think he's ever seen a minute of his football career.
You don't need to talk about anything. If you talk about Juventus, well, why did Juventus sell? Well, he's in the last year of his contract.
You don't even know that, though.
Last year of his contract. Juventus has got 4 strikers ahead of him, senior strikers.
Raiola wants the best for his clients.
Raiola wants him out.
And he holds sway with Juventus.
Everton tried to get him on loan in January. It looked like he was gone, and then there was a couple of things that changed. So have a bit of knowledge and go. Everton have done. It's a great deal for Everton. Brilliant.
Sign one of the world's best young strikers.
And off you go. Don't be bitter and go, they've only got him because of this, and his attitude's not good, and it's blah. Just give it a look at it.
I'm sure you couldn't tell me one goal.
And hold your hand up and go, you know what? Everton have done really well there. Even though I'm a Red, Everton have done really well there. Or even though if it's Kale, even though I'm an Evertonian, Liverpool have signed him and he's a great player. Why is it like
it always seems to be like they're always it's football is a boys' club. Like it really is a boys' club. A lot of scouts, for example, are hired, are friends of the manager, friends of people at the club. It's all boys' club. And it's the same with punditry. Like when Sam Allardyce, I was saying about Marco Silva, English players, when foreign players or foreign managers come in, they're like, no English manager, why are they signing English players? Because they feel like they can feel like their friends are being sliced and getting out of the job, and it's not a boys' club. We just want to pay a good analysis. It's what we pay for. Sky's not cheap; it's expensive. Football is the leading package on Sky as well. So most people buy Sky. They do not buy it for the movies; they buy it for football. So and they're spending all this money on these pundits. Get the best possible ones.
There you go, Matthew. Hope we've answered your question or just backed up what you were saying there. It's just not good enough. It's not good enough, and something needs to change on it. Whether it will, I don't know. Like Andy said, it is very much a boys' club. We saw that with Allardyce. The minute Allardyce lost his job, everyone was having a dig at Everton. Everyone was having a dig at Marco Silva. What did he want? What more do Everton want? And all that shit. That's what it's like. That is, sadly, that's the area you're dealing in. But thanks very much for sending your video. Big thanks to Andy as well. If you've got a question that you want discussed, if it isn't for the Tuesday topic, it's something like what Matthew's done there, just send us a quick video into WhatsApp, and we'll make a video for it. It's good to get different ideas, things that maybe we're not thinking about at that time, and it gives us a jumping off point to talk about it, because let's be honest, we could talk about things all day long to do with football. So get them in if you want. Thank you very much for watching. See you later.